Gator Dave, Gator Dave.
Miami Mike, we are back. 2024, another year, and you know, we've got a bit of a facelift, as everyone should see, right, Mike? We're now Bets Utopia, your number one location for all
Gator
things
Dave, Gator
sports betting.
Dave.
So, we're real excited to kick off today with the new facelift. You're gonna see a lot of new cool stuff. I mean, I'm just now seeing some of this. It's pretty amazing here, Mike. So looking really good. 2023, we saw the Michigan Wolverines win it all, and Mike, who projected Michigan Wolverines to win it all? Gator Dave. Yeah. So who's gonna win it this year? Ohio State, Georgia, Texas, the Oregon Ducks? We shall see. Oh, man, I can't wait to get it rolling. We got summer workouts about to crank up with this football season. We're not far away, just a few weeks. So it's a very exciting adventure we're taking on here. So, we're here to take a look at things. We're going to look at the big four leagues for sure. Used to be Big Five, right, Mike? Big Four now. Pac-12 is bye. So obviously this is the precursor to the upcoming season and our weekly pick'ems, which we'll get down and dirty with that when we get toward the end of August. Hopefully we'll have a lot of fun here. We encourage everyone to join the live shows if you can. If you can't, that's okay. Catch our break anytime afterwards. We're shooting for Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. like we did last year, and hoping for another successful year. Remember, subscribe, like, turn on the notifications so we pop up and when we're rolling. It should be fun. You can Google Bets Utopia sports betting or Bets Utopia bets. And it'll all pop up there. Our hope is soon. All you have to do is Google Bets Utopia and we come right to the top. But we got to get a little content right, Mike.
We got to get it rolling. I don't know if you saw, we did have our first video the other day. I got my ass kicked in college football.
I did see that. I talked to Public House today about this new college football 25 or whatever. Is that's something that you guys have rolling? Sounds
absolutely.
Sounds pretty exciting. So
it's massive. It's been a decade, Dave. Decade.
I know, it's crazy. Now I did see Tim Tebow kick Mike Vick's ass on YouTube the other day, so that was kind of cool. So
yeah,
pretty exciting. So what say you, Mike? You ready to get this thing get rolling? What do we got? What's our format going to look like?
So we got we're going to go ahead and talk ACC conference like you said, and we'll stop at the bottom. We're going to go by the bottom four teams. You're going to lead us off here, so I'll go ahead and throw your graphic up. You'll do your four. It'll bounce to me. I'll do my bottom four, and we'll just kind of work our way up. 17 teams this year in the ACC, Dave. 17 teams.
I know, it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. All these teams changing conferences, jumping on board. It should make things interesting. And as I was thinking before I started, putting things together, it's going to be a little bit tougher in every single league this year, right? Whether you're ACC, whether you're Big 10, whether you're Big 12 or SEC, you got more competition in there now. So it's definitely going to be tougher. Obviously, the 12-team playoff is going to be helpful, but it's still going to be a lot tougher. I think the days of a lot of 0 wins and 1 wins are going to go by the wayside pretty soon, with all the competition that's going on for sure. So But we'll see what we pick here. So,
Yep, get them while you can.
yep. So we're gonna start with me picking the number 17, right? So I am going 17 in the ACC, the Stanford Cardinal, and I am projecting them to be 3-9. They do return 16 starters from a team that only went 3-9 last year. So that pretty much says it all, right? They do have quarterback Austin Daniels. He's going to rank number 15 out of 17 in the ACC, so he's not going to really stack up there and be a factor. Strength of schedule for the Stanford Cardinal, number 40, which is about average for the ACC. They're coming in at about 40. The Cardinal do have a bright spot. They've got a sophomore wideout. His name's Eric Anaminer. He had over 1,000 yards last year, so they expect a lot out of him. The team just doesn't have a lot of talent. Obviously, they sucked in the Pac-12, so I imagine they're going to suck here with the retooled ACC. So 3 wins for the Stanford Cardinal. Move to 16, Virginia Cavaliers. Again, another projection here of 3 wins. They returned 13 starters from a team that went 3-9. They got Anthony Calandrea, who's ranked 16th out of 17 in the league. So not too hot, low-end quarterback. Strength of schedule, the Cavs, 24th strength of schedule in the nation, which is the toughest in the league. 24th strength of schedule for the Cavs puts them the roughest schedule of all, thus 3 wins, right? They gave up just under 34 points a game on D last year. They got 2 talented young players on the D side, linebacker Cam Robinson, cornerback Dre Walker, that should help them, but still I've got them at 3 wins. Let's move on to number 15, the Boston College Eagles, another 3-win team. Again, with the competition coming in, it's going to be a little bit tough. They do return 10 starters from last year that went 6-6. Their quarterback, Thomas Castellanos, who is ranked 9th out of all the quarterbacks in the ACC, which isn't too bad. He's kind of he's definitely an interesting dude for sure. Strength of schedule 46, so that's about average. The cool thing here is Coach Bill O'Brien is back. He is back from the NFL, and he is now coaching Boston College. I do like the quarterback. He's kind of interesting, but they just don't have the firepower, so I'm going 3 wins and 3-9 for Boston College. We look next at number 14. I have
slow down, Dave. Slow down.
You only want 3?
Yep, only three.
All right. I thought we were doing 4. Thank you, sir.
You're good. So we're bouncing over to mine. I'm with you on Virginia. I actually have them at 2-10. They just don't have a schedule that favors them one bit. Unfortunately, I think that head coach Elliott may be on his way out sooner than later. It's going to be a rough year for them. Then I got Pitt sitting at 4-8. Same thing with Narduzzi. He had a real rough year last year. I think it's going to kind of continue. They got a tough schedule, tough ask. He's going to find a way to get some wins, but it's a tough schedule. Duke, former coach of the Miami Hurricanes, Manny Diaz, is taking over for the Duke Blue Devils. First year there, he went and got his big splash in the transfer portal. He's a big portal guy, Manny Diaz. Went and got Malik Murphy from Texas. Looks like that's gonna be their starting quarterback for this year. I think they're gonna compete in some games. I think they have a chance to start off good early, but they got a stretch. It's about 4 or 5 games that it's kind of some juggernauts that they're going to be going against in this ACC. So I think that unfortunately, they're going to miss bowl eligibility this year. But that's my bottom 3 here. Dave, I'm going to send it back over to you here and put your next three up.
All right, we're going number 14, Duke Blue Devils. Again, you spoke to that. They're returning 8 from a 7-5 team last year. Malik Murphy, they're ranking him 14th out of 17, so they're not thinking much of that, Mike. I think it's going to be a
That
tough.
kid's got talent. Former 4-star, all right?
I know, but hey, I'm only going by what the soothsayers say, man. 14 out of 17, not too hot.
Whatever.
Not too hot.
Whatever. We'll see.
Not too hot. But it's going to be a tough year for Manny in the first year, but he'll make it happen. O-line, it's going to be rough. Defense is going to be pretty poor, but we know Manny will try to work on that. It's his first year. He's got a little work to do. So I'm going to say four wins. 4 wins for the Blue Devils at 4-8. I'm rolling to Pitt
on that right side.
Yeah. I'm going Pitt Panthers next. And I'm going to call them 5-6. They're returning 9 from a 3-9 team last year. Quarterback Nate Yarnell, he's 13th out of 17. Strength of schedule is 60, so little easier. But Pitt had trouble on defense last year, and they're going to have trouble on defense this year. They're going to give up a lot of points. Narduzzi is going to jump to the hot seat next year, and they're only going to win 5 games. So that's my Pitt Panthers. So we're going to move next to Wake Forest Demon Deacons. I'm going 5-7 here. They are returning 11 players, but they went 4-8 last year. They quarterback Hank Bachmeyer, he's ranked 12th out of 17. Strength of schedule 47th. I think Clausen's gonna be another one by the end of the year that's gonna be on the hot seat. Although it is Wake and they'll let him get away with it. They do have some good receivers on this team, so we'll give them that. But I'm gonna only go 5 wins at best and rank 12th in the ACC, Mike. So that's my next 3, sir.
Look, you're talking mess about Dave Clausen. What are we doing?
Yeah, but he was 4-8 last year, and he's going best 5-7.
He's been to a bowl game like 8 out of the last 10 years.
It's over.
Mike.
Mike.
That's Wake Forest standard football. They're gonna build a statue for that, man. What are you talking about? All right, my 3.
What you got?
The California Golden Bears. All right, they're coming in. What is that? 14th for me. They're 5-7. They're just gonna miss a bowl game. The thing that kind of teetered with me for Cal is they got a quarterback coming in, Chandler Rogers out of North Texas, and this kid can sling it. The issue with Cal and Stanford, like you discussed a little bit earlier, these teams coming in from the once Pac-12 to the ACC. ACC is the Atlantic Coastal Conference. It is on the East Coast. That is a long back and forth for a lot of these teams. Over 2,000 miles for a lot of these teams, back and forth. That's going to play a toll. Luckily, there's some teams that I'm going to discuss in a little bit and may work to their favor because they got a lot of teams coming to them this year. Cal, not so much. Cal is going to get Miami at home. Good luck. Cal's going to get NC State at home. Good luck. Stanford, maybe. They got at Florida State, at Auburn, at SMU. That's tough. So no, Cal, I don't think Cal's going to do that great this year. Justin Wilcox, this is his 8th year at Cal. I think Justin Wilcox is going to be on the hot seats. Georgia Tech, I got at 5-7 as well. I don't know. To me, they were. I don't even really want to discuss what Georgia Tech did last year.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about the teams that they beat last year.
Yeah, since we basically made them bowl eligible. Handed that to him. Anyway, Haynes King is coming back for Georgia Tech. This dude is their entire offense. He had 37 total touchdowns for them last year. 10 of those were on the ground. He is back. I think Tex takes a step forward in some ways, but ultimately they are going to run into some problems, specifically at the end of the year. Their last 6 games, North Carolina, at North Carolina, Notre Dame in a neutral site in Atlanta, neutral, at Va-Tech, Miami at home, NC State at home off a bye for NC State, and then at Georgia. Those last 6 games right there, and then they start with Florida State over in Ireland, which I'm still confused why that is. Supposedly Georgia Tech does a lot of business with Ireland. What's that got to do with football? I don't think anything. Anyway, so I got Tech at 5-7. Just that last 6, that's a gauntlet. So it could be a little bit worse than that too, honestly. Syracuse, I got at 6-6. I think the Qs are going to bounce back a little bit. They got Kyle McCord coming in from Ohio State. He's transferring. A lot of people were talking a lot of mess about Kyle McCord last year, myself included. So I am looking forward to see what he can do. Very similar to like Tyler Van Dyke going from Miami to Wisconsin. You know, basically the fan base pushed him out. Same sort of thing with Kyle McCord. They liked who was behind him a little bit better, and he didn't like all the chatter off the field, so he's gone. I'm looking forward to see what he can do with that. If he's going to bounce back or if he's going to kind of fall into that trap. The good news for Syracuse is their first 5 games are basically a cakewalk. They play Ohio, Georgia Tech, Stanford, Holy Cross, Stanford at home, by the way. So that's a long trip again. At UNLV, and then they're going to go at NC State. That's their first 6 games. So easily could be 5-1 in that potentially. Because of that, I have them at 6-6 because their last 6 are same sort of situation as Georgia Tech. It's going to be a gauntlet. Pittsburgh, Virginia Tech, Boston College, Cal, and then they wrap it up with Miami. I think that they could probably sneak 1 or 2 in there to even expand on that, maybe get up to 7 or 8. But I think Syracuse will definitely be bowl eligible this year. All right, sending it back to you, Dave.
All right, so let's hit our next 3. We've got number 11, California Golden Bears. I'm gonna have them at 6-6, Mike. They are returning 16 players from a team that went 6-6 last year. Their quarterback's not getting a lot of ballyhoo, like you said, but still not real sure. He could be sharing. There's a kid named Mendoza, ironically, that he's probably going to compete with. So that one's kind of up in the air. Strength of schedule 58, which is about average for the league. They do bring back their leading rusher, best offensive weapon, Jaden Ott from last year. Defense gave up 32.8 points a game, which is quite a bit. I think they win 6 games. And that's going to be the extent for California. I'm rolling Syracuse next. I have them at 10th. I've got them winning 7 games. They're returning 13 from last year that went 6-6. And again, Mike talked about Kyle McCord. I think that's going to be a good addition to the team. The soothsayers have him ranked 7th in the league. He could do better. Obviously, he comes from good stock, so we'll see there. Strength of schedule 68. We got a new coach at Syracuse, right? We got Fran Brown, who's the ex-DB coach at Georgia. He brought his Georgia recruiting with him. Not only did he get Kyle McCord from the Buckeyes in the transfer portal, he got Fidel Diggs, 4-star rusher out of Texas A&M. And then he got 4-star edge rusher out of Texas A&M. And then he got 2 O-linemen out of Georgia. He got a quarterback out of LSU, and they get a D lineman out of Alabama. So he did pretty well in the portal. He also ended up with a 36th ranked recruiting class. And I know those are the young bucks, but the year before, Syracuse was ranked 88th in recruiting, and he bought them up to 36. So a lot of fire going there and a lot of excited folks. I think they put this thing together and get 7 wins. Let's see. My last one in this run is the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets at number 9, Mike. They are saying 5.5 wins for Georgia Tech, which is about where you had them, right, Mike? You said 5 or 6, right? What did you have Georgia?
Yeah,
At?
5 and 7.
Yeah, so 5.5 is where they've got them. So they're returning 12 starters from 6-16, bringing in Haynes King, like you said. Haynes King ranked 4th in the league for quarterbacks. Now, here's the dicey part for Georgia Tech. They've got the toughest schedule in the ACC by a mile, Mike. They're actually the 9th toughest schedule in the league. So that's going to hold them back dramatically. At the same time, I think it'll make them build them some men there. So I think Brent Keys might be a hidden gem for the Jackets. And I think they have a respectable year this year. I think they win the 7 games. Okay. The tough schedule is going to be hard. I think they're the dark horse in the league. And I think the 5.5 bet the over and call that a Gator Dave lock. Bet the over on Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets to win more than 5.5 games, Gator Dave lock. And you'll be really interested to know who I've got them beating, but we'll talk about that later. Back to you, Mike.
All right. Next 3, basically who teams we've already talked about, so we won't spend too much time. Wake Forest, I have them at 6-6. I do have them getting bowl eligible, like we talked about a little bit ago. Boston College, I also have 6-6, but to be honest, based on what we just talked about, I think that Georgia Tech, I would move up from 5-7 to 6-6. And that win being against Boston College, because I had Boston College beating Tech. And so I think Boston College would actually be 5-7, but 6-6 for the graphic. And then last but not least, Stanford. Stanford, Dave. I think Stanford is going to sneak in there and become that's my dark horse for the league right here. They're not going to get more than 6, but I think they have the ability to get bowl eligible because of those teams that have to make that trip to Stanford. I think they get something done. They got a lot of returning starters. All right, we're going back to you here, Dave. This one's going to be a 4-P. This one's a 4. This one's a 4.
You want 4 teams? All right, because we have 8 left, so we're going 4 and 4, right?
4.
All right. So again, now I just want you guys to know, Miami Mike now is saying 6 wins for Georgia Tech. I'm saying 7 again. It's even more of a Gator Dave lock. So, all right. I've got number 8. I have the North Carolina Tar Heels at 8-4. They return 11 starters. They were 8-4 last year. I think they're going to pretty much repeat this year. QB Max Johnson. Coming from Texas A&M. Prior to that, he was at LSU. They've only got him ranked 10th in the league. I mean, he's kind of a, journeyman. Been here, there, and everywhere. Hasn't been really that great. Strength of schedule 65th. Let's see. We get the return of Jeff Collins to the ACC, Mike, who was the beleaguered coach with the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Mm-hmm. But he can coach a defense if that's all he's got to do, as he did at Florida so well a number of years back. So I think he will fix the defense. I don't think he will quite fix it this year because Rome was not conquered in a day. It will take him a little bit of time, but give me 8 wins for the North Carolina Tar Heels. All right, let's move on. Next, I've got at number 7, I have Virginia Tech Hokies. All right. I've got them at 8-4. They're returning 19 starters last year from a team that went 6-6. Okay. So that's a big deal. Quarterback Kyron Drones ranks 7th in the league according to the experts, which is pretty darn good. Dual threat quarterback, and he can run.
Pretty darn
Strength of
good.
schedule around 32nd. The Hokies finished last season winning 5 of the last 7 games. So they came on at the end. You'll see the stat that we got pumping down there about Georgia Tech. Very interesting about Drones. Rising star. Okay. Rising star should allow Tech to have a decent year. I've got them at 8 wins. All right. So that's the Virginia Tech Hokies. All right, next up, I have number 6, the Louisville Cardinals. I have them at 8-4 as well. Got a lot of teams that are similar records, as you'll notice when it's all said and done, Mike. So I've got Louisville Cardinals at 8-4. They're returning 12 starters from a 10-2 team last year. Quarterback Tyler Schlaw coming over from Texas Tech. He had a lot of injuries. Schlaw. A lot of injuries. Came over from Texas Tech. The league doesn't think much of him. 11th out of 17 is what the experts say. And got to stay healthy. But if he stays healthy, they could be chunking around a lot with Jeff Brom. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I think they have a decent offense. Defense going to be decent. Last year they were pretty good. They bring back Aston Gillette. And standout QB Quincy Riley, who should have a positive effect on that defense. Strength of schedule about 48th, about it like everyone else. So I'm getting Louisville Cardinals at 8-4, coming in at number 6. So last pick here in this run, I have the newcomer to the league, the SMU Mustangs, coming in at 5th. 9-3. They're returning 14 from a team last year that went 11-1. Granted, they weren't in the Power 5. They do have quarterback Preston Stone, who I really like, and I know you like him too, Mike. They've got him ranked 3rd in the league behind the 2 Florida team quarterbacks. He's very, very exciting. Looking forward to seeing him play. Schedule strength 54. Obviously, this is the best of the 3 new teams. I've got them ranked substantially higher than the others. They got a stud tight end, R.J. Maryland. I think who's his daddy there? I believe he used to play for Miami Hurricanes. Look for SMU.
RJ's a beast.
Oh,
RJ's
he is.
A beast.
I mean, he's
Lashley got him
a
a
chance
good one.
to be all-American tight end for sure. So I look for them to have another good defense and to make some serious noise in their new league. I think they win 9 games. Mike, to you, sir.
All right. I'm with you, ultimately. But you'll notice they're not in my next top 4, Dave. So where does that leave them? We'll get there shortly.
Yeah.
I got VaTech. I'm with you. 8-4. For the same reason that you were talking about Georgia Tech's coach, they, alumni guy, good fit for Tech. Same thing with VaTech. That's how I feel about this guy. He's an alumni guy. Used to play for him. He's bringing that lunch pail box mentality back to VaTech and that defense, Beamer ball. I think they've sort of turned it around. They got a favorable schedule this year as long as they don't fumble and stumble to teams like Old Dominion, that they've had issues with in the past. I think VaTech has a chance to really compete in this league this year. Next, I'm with you. I got Louisville at 8-4 as well. They brought in some good transfers. They got Don Chaney from Miami as a backup running back. Quarterback situation is good. Jeff Brom knows what he's doing with quarterbacks, former quarterback himself at Louisville. I like Louisville and where they're going to be this year. I think they have a chance too. I mean, 8-4, I think that's sort of their floor. I think they have the potential to get up to maybe 10 wins and get back to the ACC championship. North Carolina 9-3. Mac Brown, I mean, it's time, bro. Just hang it up. Like, I get it, you're collecting checks and whatnot, but he kind of went to North Carolina because they were in an abysmal state for a couple of years under Fedora. He, took it upon himself to turn the program around. Hasn't really been able to get over that hump, even with the great recruits that he's had, recruiting classes, transfer portal guys. This year, I think they're going to start off really hot. They got a favorable schedule in those first 6 games or so. It's that later half of the season. I think they'll stumble a couple. But ultimately, I mean, North Carolina definitely has a chance. Again, sort of similar to like the Louisville situation at 8-4 is their floor. 9-3, 8-4 where you have them. I mean, that they have a favorable schedule for the first half of their season. It's pretty much a walk to, 7-1 at least. So we'll see how they finish the year if they can kind of finally get to that next level. NC State, I have them at 9-3 as well. Same sort of thing. They're projected. I feel like the last couple of years, top 15 team, expected to make something shake. Great defense, and the offense has just sort of let them down. They've brought in quarterback transfers in the past. Hasn't really worked out. This year, Dave, Grayson McCall, the guy that you wanted for Florida for a long time from Coastal Carolina, he's coming in. That's finally a proven, certified quarterback gamer for the NC State Wolfpack. They got a guy who knows how to sling it and be smart with it. I think that makes a big difference. So, again, like we were talking about North Carolina, Louisville, Vatech, these teams that are all right there. Once we're getting into this top 8 teams of this 17-team conference, I mean, it could go a lot of different ways, depending on injuries, depending on how these kids react to how they react to losses or wins. It could really fluctuate between these top 8 teams. So it's going to be an exciting conference to watch. I'm going to swing it back to you, Dave, but yeah, I like NC State here at 9-3. So give me your top 4.
Top 4. Well, let's say old Scott Crawford and Charles Henderson in the chat, and I know my lovely wife Nirvana's in as well. So thanks for joining, folks. All right, you're gonna see something very interesting because you're putting up my records. I have the next 4 teams. My top 4 teams.
You see that up there? You see that up there at number 1?
Stop it.
See that at number 1?
I have a job to do, Mike. All right. The top 4 teams
are
10-2.
He did that.
10-2. Yeah, it's up there, folks. So
that's how he put it. See how those teams are 10-2? He put that tiebreaker that way. He did that.
I put that there.
But one thing that
we're going to include, Mike, we're going to include who the 2 losses will be in my top 4. So I have North Carolina State, and I didn't go just all kennel on the tiebreaker because I didn't want to spend too much time on it, but I think I got it through my head and ranked the teams as they should based off of who I thought would win or lose. But 10-2, all the teams. Number 4, North Carolina State Wolfpack at 10-2. They're returning 10 starters from an 8-4 team. And again, you said it, my boy Grayson McCall, who we wanted 2 years ago, who couldn't get into Florida, is in there. They're going to look good. It's like his 10th year in college football. We know how that'll go. With him at the helm, they'll definitely do better than 22.6 points like they did last year. No
for sure.
doubt in my mind. I got a receiver, Kevin Concepcion. Watch him. Him and McCall are going to tear it up. Wolfpack play none of the Florida teams, which I hate to say that's kind of advantage this year. They do, however, play Clemson, and they're going to lose. And they play Tennessee, and they're going to lose that game. So North Carolina State's 2 losses, Clemson and Tennessee. All right, number 3 is those Clemson Tigers at 10-2. They got 10 starters coming back. The Cade Klubnik, he hadn't measured up to the hype out of high school like I thought he was. I thought he was going to be a stud assigning one of those games, and I thought he was going to do well. They've got him ranked 8th out of all the quarterbacks, which the experts aren't thinking very much of him either. Strength of schedule, however, Clemson's a little tougher, third toughest in the league, a lot tougher than the other 2 teams I'm going to discuss. They are 35th. Toughest schedule. They got some peeps, guys. Blue chip ratio of 64%, which is the highest in the league. Miami, by the way, we'll talk about that in a minute. They're decent. Defense should be stellar. I think they'll stop stubbing their toe as they did last year. They've got 2 freshman receivers coming in. Bryant Westco and TJ Moore should be studs and make impact immediately. However, they are not going to be able to hold off Miami and FSU in ACC race. Clemson will lose to Georgia and FSU. Georgia and FSU, repeat, those are the 2 losses. All right, next up, the much hated 2 teams. Number 2, I got Florida State Seminoles coming in at 10-2, and we don't have our boy Ian on here to talk to. They're returning 8 from a team last year that went 12-0. They've got the Clemson retread, the DJ Uiagalelei coming in. However, he is ranked the 2nd best quarterback in the league according to the experts. I don't think will end up being there.
Ain't no way.
I don't see it.
Ain't no
now
way.
they do have 34th toughest schedule in the league, so they don't, it's not super easy. Seminoles did their usual shopping in the portal. They got Malik Benson from Bama, the receiver from Bama. They got edge rusher Marvin Jones from Georgia. They got DB Earl Little from Georgia as well. So those are going to be immediate payoffs for that team. But they lost a heck of a lot. They lost a heck of a lot this year. But those will be nice additions to that team. If the Gators have a decent year, can't predict it yet, they'll beat FSU, and FSU will have 3 losses, Mike, and things will change here dramatically. But that's an if, and we're way down the road end of the year. Seminoles will lose to Notre Dame and Miami. So we're going to leave it and move on to my projection for the number 1 team. Again, this is a business, guys. Total business. This is my job here to project. I am not a fan of these last 2 teams. All right. Miami Hurricanes at 10-2, number 1. Returning 11 starters from last year that went 7-5. Quarterback Cam Ward ranked number 1 in the league at this point, over from Oregon State. Strength of schedule, Mike. Strength of schedule. 5-0. Repeat, 5-0. 5-0. All right. They do have the best quarterback and the best running back in the ACC, which it is what it is. The only tough games in the ACC that they have are against FSU, Virginia Tech, and Georgia Tech. And they only play the Gators outside of the ACC schedule. With that schedule, they should be able to take it to the house. Miami will lose. Mark it. Miami will lose to Florida and Georgia Tech.
Oh, you're out of your mind.
Complete. Florida
oh, my God.
and Georgia Tech. Take it to the bank.
No, absolutely not.
Take it to the bank.
Absolutely
Again,
not.
they'll be the lead team rolling into the ACC.
Absolutely not.
Game. Absolutely 100% sure of that, Mike.
I hope you have somebody driving with you to the Florida-Miami game, so when you're on the way back crying, they can still take you home, because it's not going that way. It's not going that way.
Whatever, Mike.
And then
Whatever.
Georgia Tech. Come on.
Georgia
After
Tech,
last year,
Mike,
after last year, Georgia Tech is going to be lucky if they score. We're going to put up 40 on them. I'm telling you.
this is the head. This is the
All right.
head, folks. This
All right.
is the head.
All right. Let me tell you.
Strength of
Let me
schedule.
tell you who we're going to lose to, okay? But first, let's put up the 4. All right. So, similar to you, what I was telling you earlier is our top 4 are or top 5 are intermatchable. You know what I mean? Like we can move those around any way you want. However, SMU 10-2. SMU 10-2. Their schedule is easy peasy. Rhett Lashley has nothing but offense on that team. They might average 50 a game this year. It's going to be straight fireworks. Florida State, I have them at 10-2, but they're going to lose to who you said, Miami, and
Notre Dame. They're not going to beat
dude.
Notre Dame, Mike. Come on.
Yeah, no. At Notre Dame's going to be coming off a bye. So I think they're going to have issues with Notre Dame. So that's what I got, 10-2 for Florida State. Miami and Clemson. Miami and Clemson, I have it 11-1. Miami is going to beat the brakes off of Florida in week 1, so that's not a loss. That's a W. And then I will say, though, the one game that has me worried is at Louisville. And, Georgia Tech gives me a little pause just because it's going to be super cold at that game. For whatever reason, the ACC always schedules when we go play Georgia Tech, it's always in November, every time. So it's going to be cold. I could see that one potentially, being something. Clemson, 11-1. They could definitely be 10-2. The thing is, I have them upsetting Georgia week 1. I think it's going to be one of those games. It's going to be like 10-6, and it's going to be ugly. I think Dabo finds a way to get it done. So that's why I have Clemson at 11-1. Otherwise, Clemson I would have it 10-2, and then maybe like what you got on your side, we get a Miami-Florida State rematch in the ACC championship, which would be awesome. Wouldn't be mad at it. So
that's what I got. But
that's the ACC, brother.
It could go any way, though. I'm with you. Because you look what
the crazy part about this was, Dave, like I legitimately was looking at Miami's schedule and I worked it out 10-2, 11-1, and I tried to get it lower than that and I just can't. So that's the problem too for Mario Cristobal this year. I mean, if he doesn't achieve like 9 wins is a minimum. Minimum.
Minimum, yes.
If he doesn't get that this year, he's gonna hear about it. There's no doubt about it. I mean, that schedule is cake. I'm telling you, with the talent that they have.
Well, it is. I mean, it is number 50, Mike. And can we go check who has the toughest schedule in the nation?
Oh, it's Florida for sure. We already know that. We talked about it last year.
Yeah.
And next year, you're probably going to be number 1 toughest again, buddy. So it's
because we got to play Miami again. And
you got to play Miami, and I think you got to play. But I think you play Notre Dame. I want to say you play Notre Dame.
No, we play
or Texas or something. Like you play Alabama. I think you play Texas and Alabama also next year or something.
They wouldn't have that yet.
The AD for y'all did you dirty. He for so many years he did you great, and then this last little he really let's see how you like it.
So I think it'll be Miami and UCF.
It's catching up to you.
Yeah, it's horrible. But
but then I'm saying the SEC side too is just a gauntlet. It's not like it's going to be easy at all.
They hadn't announced that yet, though. We don't know. We won't know yet, Mike.
Well, Oh, did they change it? So
No,
you don't know?
no,
Oh, okay.
we don't
Never
know.
mind.
We don't know. No. So we'll see. I just hope our Savior stays with us. Like I hope Lagway stays because
Oh, okay.
if he
I didn't know
bolts,
who you meant by savior. I don't.
we're in trouble. Yeah, the best quarterback in the country, Mike, number one quarterback. So, all right.
I don't know. Whatever. If he leaves, you're toast.
Yeah, we are.
That's it. You better hope Billy
But
starts
that's
him
the
sooner
thing.
than later
There
because
is
Graham Mertz thinks he's the guy.
There's so much. Well, he will be for the most part, but we'll see a lot of Lagway, but we'll see. There's a lot going to happen between now and December, Miguel. So look forward to it. So what are we doing next week, Mike? We doing the Big Ten next week?
I believe so.
That's what you shot at me, folks. So
Yeah.
next
I mean,
week,
it's Big Ten.
Yep. And then we've got
we'll
that
follow it
maybe
up.
week. Maybe
Well,
week
what
while
we might
you're
do, we might record it. We might record it and then just still post it on that Wednesday.
All right.
Maybe we'll do
So we our first official Bets Utopia Pick'em broadcast. Thought it went well, pretty exciting. I think we agree on a lot. We're very close on a lot of things, and we both agree that a game here and game there can change this whole thing in the ACC. But we also definitely agree that at least those top 5 teams are all interchangeable, quite interchangeable. But then it also comes down to injuries and everything else that goes on in college football, right? So
Absolutely.
all good. But we appreciate the folks that got on during the live broadcast, that got the notification and jumped aboard, because we did kind of surprise everybody. We'll get a little pub out this week and next week for to throw the stream out and the live show out next week. So maybe we can have a chunk of folks on to mix it up next week with us. So
awesome.
Sound good?
Awesome. Sounds
all
good
right,
to me.
Mike. Awesome. Great first show. Bets Utopia. Please remember to like, subscribe, and click that notifications on, and come back and see us next week. And go Gators.
Peace out.